Earth as a singular planet. In fact, it is anything but. For this is a story not of a universe, but a multiverse, where universes and planets, such as Earth, were replicated and mirrored across a vibrating, infinite plane. Some barely different from the next. Others drastically so.
This is DC On Screen. Every week, Dave and Jason talk about the multiverse of DC properties on film and television. But be warned, if it's been officially released, you can expect they'll spoil it.
Welcome into DC On Screen episode 499. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
And it's a small show tonight.
We'll see about that.
We'll see about that, yeah. I say that up front. I don't know that for certain, but we don't have a lot on the plate.
Yeah.
I mean, some big things happened. Announcements were had. Meaty, if not large in quantity.
Yeah. Not a lot of meat on the bone, but we'll dig into it. Whatever's there.
No. Before we get into that, if you'd like to join us on Facebook and our group, facebook.com/group/DC On Screen podcast. And if you'd like to leave us a voicemail, 205-259-6331. Next week is our 500th episode. So we, of course, welcome you to give us a call, proffer congratulations.
Damnations, whatever.
Damnations are also acceptable. Maybe even comical. Mm-hmm. So, as I said, 205-259-6331. And moving right into things, there's a Supergirl movie in development.
Yeah, there is.
What do you think about that, man?
Nope.
Oh, nope. Oh, we have a negative reaction.
I'm going to go with a nope.
What's going on, Jason?
It's not a hard negative. It's not it's not a hard no.
Let's talk this out. What's going on, buddy?
It's a friendly nope.
What's going on?
So...
Uh-huh. We're waiting with bated breath.
There's a limited amount of resources at WB. I mean, even
you would think.
I mean, I know they got money and all, but it is limited. And there are things I want more. Mm-hmm. And I have Supergirl, and I really like her. Uh-huh. So me personally, I like Melissa Benoist just fine, and I'm really happy with that. Like that's a solid show that keeps on kicking, man. Mm-hmm. I don't really need this necessarily.
Well, we don't need any of it.
Yeah, but even when you take that version of the word need and really give me that flexibility, I don't need this. Yeah. I very much need a follow-up to Man of Steel way more. I mean, and I'm not saying that this is what's happening instead of that. I'm not being that, I'm not trying to generalize. I'm not trying to guess, and I mean, that's...
Sure.
I'm just saying... There are places I would rather them put their resources right now than developing a Supergirl script with a guy with 8 IMDb entries.
Right. See, that was my... Like, I don't mind a Supergirl movie. Like, I think it's, perfectly understandable that they would want to jump on that train. Even Zack Snyder was talking on Vero about... he didn't consider the broken pod to be Supergirl, even though David Goyer did. We see how much they disagreed then.
Yeah.
Because Goyer wrote a whole comic book about it, but Snyder says they did leave another way open for Kara, and it was in plain sight, and I don't know what that exactly is. But
I mean, I like the movie. I'd be happy to go back and check that out, see if I can find it. I just haven't had time.
Absolutely. I don't mind the idea of a Supergirl movie, but the only thing I've seen from this Oren Uziel, the screenwriter, is the Cloverfield Paradox.
Have you actually seen it?
I've seen the Cloverfield Paradox. Okay. And to say that I wasn't impressed is an understatement.
Okay.
That film, but
let's do this stuff.
That film was heavily doctored though to force fit it into the Cloverfield universe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to look up.
But that said, almost none of it was good. Like it was all it was mostly shot from what I understand.
You're just saying
before they shot a couple extra scenes to make it Cloverfield.
So mostly pieces of shite stranded together. All right. So, but this is a story by. So Oren Uziel, I don't know, we'll guess, and Doug Young did story by, and it looks like they did it slightly separately because it's the N instead of the ampersand. I think I'm pretty sure I remember how that rule works. And then writing credit, screenplay by Oriana Uziel. So, I mean, that's a rough one, man. I mean that just means it went through a lot of game planning, and then it didn't really come from a script per se. It came from a story by and then get this thing on paper kind of thing.
I'll say this about the Cloverfield paradox. If you want to see a lot of really good actors, unknown good actors, making the best out of a shitty script with a fantastic premise, Cloverfield paradox is for you. Like, it's just like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing premise. And what are they doing with it? They've turned it into an Alien ripoff, but thrown in some gobbledygook. Like, oh no, it's weird because of the things that happened. We had a
just a hodgepodge of sci-fi excitedness.
We have a particle accelerator that we started in space, and now it's because of that, like, a dude can get his arm chopped off. Like, Chris O'Dowd from the IT crowd can get his arm chopped off, and that arm can run around and do shit. It was stupid.
Of course.
It was stupid. Anyway. I can't speak to the other. I didn't watch his Mortal Kombat series. I didn't watch 22 Jump Street because I would have had to have watched the first one and then probably also the TV show.
I didn't
watch any of that.
I don't know that you do. And I'm not even opposed to watching the Jump Street series. I hear it's really fun for what it is. I'm just not normally... I don't normally hop in and... I just have a lack of time. So I don't hit a lot of just action comedies. And then this whole Shimmer Lake situation, I don't know.
I don't know from that.
I don't either. Like, it's on Netflix. Maybe that's what got them excited. I'm not sure. I don't know. I really don't know how this guy got this job. That's what this amounts to. We're talking about a guy that, like, they're filming Sonic the Hedgehog and screenplay announced by Mortal Kombat. And then his next project is apparently going to be Supergirl. I don't understand.
Right. I don't either. I like Supergirl. I would love to see a version of her on the big screen. Have to wonder if there isn't a better way to introduce her. So there seems to be a serious outcry for Man of Steel 2. I'm open to seeing what they do, but I really have to wonder why. Why are we doing this?
We're not necessarily doing it. Someone was given a commission to give us, let's do a draft, see where it goes. That's where we are right now.
I know.
No further. This isn't even greenlit. It's just,
I know.
Hey, go write this. Here's $200,000. It's not even a ridiculous figure. It's $100,000 or $200,000, man. Maybe if you're just going to write this little treatment.
Yeah, maybe
the expanded treatment. Really. I don't know. I don't know how this ended up on his plate.
I don't know. Tapping this guy feels like a mission to fail.
I'm not even sure it's a mission to fail. Maybe he wrote the fuck out of Sonic.
Man. I want that on a plaque somewhere.
Like, maybe there will be some Mortal fucking Kombat. I don't know, man. Maybe there's something happening that we're not aware of. But it did seem a little odd. Just to pull to I don't know, put it politely. It seems a bit off, and I'm a bit confused.
Yeah.
But as you put it, I'm not put off by the project. It's not that I don't kind of want a Supergirl movie. It's that I kind of already have one, and we don't live in an infinite universe. We live in a zero-sum game of resources and like companies only having so much time to devote to certain things. And I want the efforts diverted elsewhere right now. That's all.
I agree. All right. Popping over to Birds of Prey. The Wrap is reporting that the villain for Birds of Prey is going to be Roman Sionis, a.k.a. the Black Mask.
Why not?
I'll tell you why not in just a minute. For those of you who don't know who Black Mask is, because he is a very, I don't know, I'm going to say C-lister villain.
B to C. I mean, you can't argue A, and I wouldn't argue D. But B to C, yeah.
Okay. This guy murdered his folks, took over their business, ran it into the ground, and returned as Black Mask, the head of the False Face Society. I've never been a huge fan of Black Mask, if I'm being honest. I can appreciate his look, but his appearances in the books have always really bored me. I've never really quite gotten the appeal, I guess. And I know in the New 52, they gave him, like, a technological mask, and he can, like, control minds and stuff. None of that has ever been interesting to me.
Am I wrong about this? There's some interpretation where, like, that mask is made out of a coffin I can't remember who.
Yeah, it's his parents' casket, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Or his
that was
dad's
it.
casket or something. Yeah.
There's a little bit of something to that. Here's what I do know.
But he gets struck by lightning. He gets struck by lightning before he, like, decides, like, this is the path or whatever, and goes and, like, hacks up his daddy's coffin. It's a stupid idea. I don't dig it, man. I just don't dig him.
I'm not
overall.
a huge fan of the character either, but here's what I like about it. Birds of Prey right now, and especially because they're picking this guy, feels like a more grounded film.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, we're not going to have floating magic trash roller coaster in the sky here.
Right.
Next time we see Harley.
I don't know. I mean, in the comics, they had him get hit by a bolt of lightning while he was, like, breaking into his parents' tomb.
I know, but Flash.
I got it. I know. Look, there are outlets out there reporting that the synopsis, and this isn't official, who knows, but they're saying that the synopsis is like the character's going after Cassandra Cain, you know, like or a young girl who a crime lord has kidnapped. And that all, that sounds right. If there's a black mask involved, and Cassandra Cain is a little girl here, and okay, fine, whatever. And if that's what we're doing, whatever. I don't get Black Mask. I've never really quite cared.
Right.
And I don't care now. I'm sorry.
I mean, I get it. I'm not huge on it, but the thing it said to me was that it would be like a possibly a more grounded thing. That means a lot. And I know how crazy this sounds, but he was voiced by John DiMaggio at some point, and that endears me a little bit.
Was he?
Brave and the Bold.
Oh, okay. See, I was thinking of John DiMaggio playing the Joker opposite of the Black Mask in that amazing scene in Under the Red Hood.
I'm not doubting you there. DiMaggio's touched your hearts in many ways.
I love that bit where, like, that's my favorite Black Mask bit, is when he goes in with all those dudes and says he needs the Joker, and Joker goes, water. When they go to give him the water, he, like, breaks the glass, like, rips the dude's throat out, takes the guy's gun and kills all the guys, and then says, I'm going to need some guys, but not these guys. These guys are dead. And, like, Black Mask just takes it all in stride, like, all right.
Well, you've bested me today, but...
Anyway, I hope the best for the Birds of Prey movie. I do. I'm dubious about it without Barbara. I'm dubious about it being R-rated. I'm just weird about it. I don't know what to think about it. It's weird.
They're taking a lot of chances here. But Black Mask, for what it's worth on in the games, was pretty fun.
Okay.
He was a bit ominous to still your worry for some hope. Might be something to it.
All right. Well,
I'm not particularly worried about it. Like, if we just need a down to earth gangster villain, and you pull Black Mask out of the hat to make that happen. Cool. I can actually live with that.
Yeah. All right.
And it'll ground the damn series for a second.
For a second.
Don't know where it's going.
I've had enough grounding. You know, I do. I feel like I've had enough grounding, though, in a lot of ways.
I mean grounding budgetarily.
Oh. Well, then I agree.
Yeah. I don't need gritty takes on stuff. We already have enough of that going on. That's fine. And keep going. I don't have a problem with that. Just saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to feel as much like a sci-fi adventure as it needs to feel like a comic book adventure. Like, at some point I want Harley Quinn to hit someone with a bat. That's one of my major goals here. That's one of my major goals here.
We didn't have enough of that in Suicide Squad.
We didn't. I mean, no. Like, the elevator scene was fantastic. That was very satisfying.
All right.
But, you know, she's badass. I want a little more of that. And she's going to be surrounded by other badasses. Let's do some of that. Let them hit people.
I say eschew the bat. I require a mallet this time around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, an upgrade to a mallet would make me really happy. Really happy. And it would be fun if they actually found a way to justify that giant mallet that she's always portrayed as holding. Like, she's always portrayed holding a mallet that is something like 6 times her head size. I don't understand how it even happens. I mean, if it was made of bamboo or something, but it always just looks like a giant trunk of wood on the end of a giant stick of wood that somehow she's able to wield. And does it with, like, the cat-like, gymnast agility that she runs around the page with. I would love it if someone sold me that. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that. Last bit of movie news. We have, apparently Production Weekly is reporting that DC Films is going to start production on the Flash in February of 2019.
We don't know with
That
whom.
can't come... No, that can't come... Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Not completely. It's just been a very ambiguous kind of project up till now.
Well, I mean, if we are to believe that, as has happened in the past, the directors are going to leave...
Yeah, true.
But, Goldstein, I think his name is Goldstein and Daly, they seem to be sticking for now. So
that'll work.
I'm excited. Can we move it up? Anything we can do? No? All right, guys.
Well, I've said before though, to some extent, I almost don't believe stuff like that until until things are rolling. So I know it's an old reference, but yeah, I like your point. Let's just move it up to like October, so you have something in the can. You've committed already.
I don't know, man. I'm excited. Any news on the Flash front, I get excited.
Yeah, I mean it's you see the stuff with what's his name, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Yeah,
which stuff exactly? Like, I know they talked about. He was talking about they're probably not going to do Flashpoint for a while,
right? So that may rule him out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Bit of a shame. I'd just like to see him around, but
I would too.
Apparently, Hamada's just going to focus on this whole Flash origin situation and everybody's origin situation, and I don't know. Part of me wants to say, like, come on, man, we all know these people's origins, and what are we doing here? The other part of me is thinking, like, yeah, well, I get that, but for the several million people you need to go watch these movies, you need to do an origin movie.
I think if they do the Flash, if Aquaman is successful and they do the Flash and is successful, I think Flashpoint will be close behind.
You think that's the sequel?
We know Wonder Woman is popular. We know that if Aquaman gets it, and Flashpoint is what? It's, Flash and Thomas Wayne as Batman running around trying to prevent World War III that's already mostly happened from the Amazons and the Atlanteans.
Right.
No way audiences would churn out to see that shit.
You say that, and then
I do say that.
They announced a film called Batman vs Superman, and everyone kind of flipped out. I don't know. Like, apparently they want people... To some extent, I do get the feeling that audiences do want, like, a galvanized team going against whomever,
I don't know what audiences want.
I don't either. They're very confusing types these days.
I agree. We should make a new millennium remake of What Women Want, but make it what fandoms want.
Oh, dude, you'd have to have, like... It'd have to be David Haller sitting there in the crosshairs for that for that to work. I mean, we're talking several personalities, all well represented. It'd be rough.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move over to the DC TV. There's a big announcement here. Kind of a lot of stuff going on, but, like I said, same thing. A couple of big things. They've cast Batwoman.
We've got
her. It is Ruby Rose. She has appeared in Pitch Perfect 3. She was in John Wick Chapter 2. She is going to be appearing next in this movie called The Meg, which looks terrible.
It does.
She was in Orange is the New Black. And look, man.
That's the only place I've actually seen her, and she's fine. I mean, it wasn't... I didn't watch Orange is the New Black. I just kind of wandered through while my wife was watching it. Mm-hmm. But I have seen her there, a few scenes.
I tried to find a few clips on YouTube because I was unfamiliar with her. In John Wick, she was silent. I guess she was deaf or mute or something. She used sign language either way. I haven't watched those movies. I just saw a couple clips.
Nice.
She seemed all right there. Orange is the New Black, she's got her Australian accent, but I almost feel like she wasn't intending to have it. So I'm a little concerned about that, but maybe I'm wrong. I haven't actually seen her do speaking roles because everything you find on YouTube is her doing she's either doing herself for some kind of video, or she's or she's singing,
Yeah.
So I don't know if she can do an American accent. From what I've seen, and I'll try to put it delicately, I think she's on par with the other CW actors. I don't think she's. I don't think she's going to be winning any awards anytime soon. but it's fine.
That does feel like a cheap shot in a way. I mean, we have talked several times about how the CW actors in general have, at times, just blown us away. And several of them, in particular, we've said, like, every time we see this person, just, good Lord. So, I feel like that's an unfair shot.
Okay, I'll winnow it down then. I don't think she's worse than Melissa Benoist, and I don't think she's worse than Katie Cassidy.
Okay.
She's not worse than Grant Gustin.
So, very roughly, you're saying, for the expectations you have of this
of leads.
This universe.
I'm talking about leads.
Yeah, I know.
Because what one of the weird things that CW tends to do, I feel, is they cast weak leads and really strong supporting actors. If that makes sense.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
I with Arrow might be the reverse of that. Like, I think I like Stephen Amell more than anyone else on that show. I
mean, I like, I agree for Arrow's sake, but I don't agree though. I mean, we have at times fawned over, how much we've liked, a Supergirl scene or a Barry Allen scene or something like that.
Sure.
And I don't remember a lot of times where we sat there and just kind of were pulled out of the show because, Grant Gustin was just acting so poorly that we couldn't bear it. I think they've cast strong leads.
It's never that bad.
I'm not willing to go with that bad even. Like, they cast these things strongly. I'm gonna go a few notches further. Like, I'm really happy with the casting of the leads of these shows.
That's awesome.
I've only seen her a few times. Like, I've literally only seen probably 3 minutes of her acting. So I'm just hoping Ruby is up to what I kind of expect out of these leads.
Well, I'm always hoping.
But we know we're gonna get the crossover in December.
Yeah, we don't know that we'll actually get a series.
But that is still in development. We're not there yet.
Yeah. Pedowitz said that at TCA. He says, we'll do a pilot for mid-season. Whether it goes to series, I can't tell you.
Right.
I'm not trying to be negative. I wanted to be optimistic and looked her up and kind of went, I'm not there yet.
I think she does look the part.
I mean, I don't know if she looks the part. Transferring these things over, everyone has an idea in their head about which artist drew it, and
well, it's not even the artist thing. Because I don't. I probably have at times gotten caught up in like who drew what, and I like this version of that. Blah blah. I like to think that my idea of looking the part has more to do with certain kind of characteristics the character exemplifies, and what I kind of get the feel of if I see like a headshot kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And Ruby does look like she could kick some ass. So I liked that about her when I first saw her. And I had to look up, Orange is the New Black. Like I recognized her from there, just having wandered into the living room a few times. But that's it. That's all I've got. I don't really know her from anything.
I know Twitter has a problem, but I don't understand why. I don't understand that beef.
Twitter always has a problem for reasons that
I know it was like blowing up my timeline for a minute. Like, no, here's why she's a bad idea. And I'm like, she just didn't look like a great actress, but that seems like, kind of par for course in a lot of ways. I don't know.
For you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be dismissive of the CW actors. A lot of them are really great. A lot of the leads, though, are, I don't know. It's not even the leads. I'm not accurate about that either. It's just random chunks of people on these shows don't work for me.
That definitely happens. That definitely happens. Like, as much as we can get caught up and really love and suspend the disbelief entirely and really love these shows, there's always every now and then you get geomancered.
I'm talking about the recurring and then regulars. The regulars and the recurring. That's
I know,
what I'm talking about,
but sometimes, man, you can hit a point where you just think, oh shit, who sent this to the network and said we're done?
Yeah. And it's so hard for me to because there have really been times where I thought Katie Cassidy did a fantastic job, and then other times lately where I'm just like, yeah, but you start to wonder if it's the Iris problem. Candace Patton is a good actress.
Yeah,
she is good at what she does.
They just didn't give her a lot for a while.
This last season on The Flash, they made her a bad character. They turned everyone against her. So, I wonder if that was part of Cassidy's problem for a while, because I've seen her turn in a good performance, and then other times I see her like shaking violently at the notion of a baby aspirin and some champagne. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
It's been rough times with her sometimes. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the Iris problems. Like, Iris is, I felt like she had a lot more to do recently. And to some extent, people just kind of thought, it seems like people to some extent thought, who the hell do you think you are? Like, why are you suddenly stepping in? And to me, though, that came across as like, yeah, man, get in there. And she was relevant. Like, the way they functionally wrote her into the show, she was mostly very relevant. Like, there's some plot holes here and there. Like, there's some parts where, yeah, you can watch the whole season and have a few pages of what if this has happened and this should have happened instead. That happens with pretty much everything. But her as an actress, never thought she was the problem. Like, season 1, I was more worried about her and her role because she didn't have anything to do. Like, they didn't give her any agency. It was just really kind of boring. And then they finally gave her something to do, and now it's been a much more interesting character. Katie Cassidy, on the other hand, they've always had something for her to do. And God help me, I'm sorry. But
they haven't always had something for her to do.
They've always had something that she was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, sure. But they very clearly, I feel like at times, have like not known what they should be doing with her.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. But there's like the scene where, I forget who breaks into her apartment and tells her like, Oliver Queen is the Green Arrow. And she just like, she looks back and forth like one of those stupid Felix the Cat, like Godfather clocks.
Yeah. That was bad.
It was bad.
Actively bad.
It was just actively bad. Like, I hope someone told her to do that, and she thought it was a bad idea, and they told her to do it anyway.
It almost reminded me, the way she was shaking while she was doing it reminded me of the guy that stumbles across the dead lady in Italian Spider-Man.
I don't know that one.
Oh man, I'm gonna send you Italian Spider-Man.
Okay.
I mean, it's a parody, but yeah.
Anyway, I reckoned.
I
reckoned that fantastic.
Hard. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I hope the best for Ruby Rose. I hope it works out well. I'm cautiously optimistic, but kind of going, I don't know.
I'm pretty optimistic. I'm not even. I'm not worried about it right now. The only thing I'm going to be cautious about is we are going to meet her in some detail. Like, that was the big drop was, hey, we're going to have Batwoman.
Yeah.
And even when they said, like, we're not going to introduce Batman, this is what we're doing. I get it. If you introduce Batman, you have to have a Batman show. Like, we're not just going to have, dude,
right.
You can't just the tip me on Batman. Like, I'm still mad about Tyler Hoechlin. Like, you've got to introduce certain characters. If you introduce them, you gotta bring me those characters a lot. Like,
why are you mad about Tyler Hoechlin?
I want more.
No, I don't. I think he's fine the way he is. I don't need a Superman series.
No, I don't. It's just it is literally something they explain away when big events happen. Like, we saw that in the finale. Like,
well, yeah.
If you introduce it,
to do that.
Yeah, and I see that's the other thing. I wonder if you're gonna have to introduce that. If you're gonna have to do that there, and they've already introduced Bruce Wayne to the universe. This is going to be in Gotham. Like, there's going to be some version of this that people are going to want explained. To me, it's a little risky to even do it. But
I think people are ridiculous for that, because you know how hard it is for me to have lunch with a friend. We're all busy. Everybody's busy.
Yeah.
Like, I was like Matt called me today. Matt from the MCU cast. He's like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm prepping for the show." And he was like, "Oh man, bummer." And we didn't have lunch today because of that.
Right. But if your friend called you and were like, "Hey, there's an alien invasion. I'm not sure my team can handle it. Like, are you free?" You'd probably free up some time.
You know Clark's not. All the time he spends with the damn Justice League. All the time he's trying to battle off people in Metropolis. You got Parasite and all sorts. There's no way that guy's
probably
free.
Plenty of things happening. I'm just saying, like, fan expectation-wise, you're going to want to see something there.
Fan expectation. That's the problem.
That is and isn't the problem. On the one hand, fan expectation is what makes this whole thing possible. On the other hand, it can become deleterious, toxic, downright painful to be around.
And I'm not trying to be toxic because any of this stuff. Like, you know, there are people I don't prefer on these shows, people that do. So, I want to reiterate that. Not trying to be mean about Ruby Rose or anybody else. Just saying, as is the point of the show, to give our opinions about these things. I'm not so down right now.
Being honest and open is one thing. Being honest and hateful, being honest and ignorant, that's obviously something that is in our fan base.
Oh, absolutely.
Honest and open, though, that's to me, that's the line you should tread. How do you really feel about it? That's how I really feel about it. What do you think? I don't know. We'll see. That, to me, is the conversation I'd like more people to have.
There is something I like about the idea that Batwoman might have a Ninja Turtle tattoo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mark Pedowitz also said that while shows do eventually end, we have no plans yet to end one or any of them. Talking about the CW shows, We'll see where we come out as the season goes on. Well, of course you will.
Yeah. Otherwise, that headline reads, "Arrow is done."
Right. I feel like Legends of Tomorrow has been dingling from the final hair of an ass for quite a while. I don't know. About 100 grand people watch us. That's all. That's what happens. I really don't know what the numbers are.
No, the numbers are actually fine for CW in that universe. They're fine. I know we have our problems with Legends from time to time. And you have many more than I do.
Bebo. That's all I gotta say.
I'm not gonna board the Bebo train anytime soon. I'm a card holding fuck Bebo member.
I remember when the pin came in the mail.
Yeah. I would have worn a fuck Bebo pin on my lapel proudly for a week. I would have bought clothes so that I owned a lapel to wear that damn sticker or pin.
Oh man!
Head to the thrift store and ask someone there. Hand me your sturdiest lapel.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not a fan.
Show me to your bin of lapels, my good man.
No. Screw the bin of lapels, my good man. No, your finest one. I shall wear this fuck Bebo's pin in pride. Be the closest I ever got to Facebook living something. The day I proudly pinned that fuck Bebo sticker. Anyway, so short of that, which Pedowitz seems to think people were like, oh, who didn't like Bebo? Me, motherfucker, me. I didn't like Bebo.
Yeah, I didn't either.
There's a lot of us.
Oh, Bebo was stupid.
Who thought Bebo was some sort of shark metaphor that you jumped right the hell over. Like you threw him in the fridge, nuked the fridge, and while the thing was in the air, you jumped a shark. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
But overall, Legends has given me a lot, and it's going to give me a lot more coming up. So
I'm glad you think so.
I mean, it has been fun. Short of Bebo, it has been a lot of fun. And yes, it's gotten ridiculous, but it's also giving it it giveth and it taketh. Bebo, damn it. Constantine coming back.
Elvis.
Damn it. Yes. Okay, Elvis. Yeah. Ridiculous. Sure. I learned this recently.
I don't know,
An
man.
Elvis scene was so ridiculous they cut it from Back to the Future.
That's right.
Back to the Future
that is
2.
That is how that should work.
I get it. But then again, same time frame, made it into Quantum Leap. I don't know what to tell you.
You know what? I didn't even like the Quantum Leap episode.
They broke their own rule for that.
They did break their own rule. They broke it a couple of times, but I was okay with it because it was Quantum Leap, and by God, they turned out a fine product.
I get it.
95% of the time.
I get it. I enjoyed that show. But yeah. All right. For all its faults, I have generally enjoyed Legends. I'm not the numbers are there, and they're giving me a lot, so I'm not hating on that.
It's like Legends of Tomorrow is trying to be this super meta show. They're trying to be Community in the DC universe, but without the cleverness.
There is some cleverness. There really is.
Mm.
It's not. I don't think it's as meta as you'd like.
It is,
but
I don't mind it being meta as long as it stops being so damnably expository, and that has gotten better since they don't have to explain Firestorm's powers every 5 seconds.
Yes, that helps. It's not even his powers. They explained the connection between him and Victor every time they were on screen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was still their powers. They had the psychic connection.
Yeah, we have a psychic connection. Anyway, that character being misused aside.
Anyway, I know there are lots of people out there who like Legends of Tomorrow. I see you on Twitter, and I'm always befuddled. I talk to you on the show, Jason. I'm always befuddled. How do you like this?
I know. I'm mostly with you guys. I'm mostly with you. There are things that I would change about the show, but I'm mostly enjoy that damn show.
Buddy. I don't know what to say about it.
You'll be right.
I'll be all right. I'll move on. Try to enjoy it this season. I like Constantine a fair amount. I'm happy to have him.
You're pretty damn happy about that guy.
Yeah, I like Constantine.
Yeah.
I do.
I was a little annoyed, hearing that, we think Constantine's a little too cool to hang out on the ship. And that would be annoying to me because it would feel like they were going to sideline him and just, I would say there are just going to be a couple episodes where we don't see him, but that's actually true for every cast member on this ship, so that's to be expected. Because it isn't. It's an ensemble cast, and you don't always get everybody. That's fine.
Right.
That's in the writing. That's how these shows work. I'm not hating on that. But it almost sounded like for a second they were just gonna kind of throw him in a little pocket and use him when they wanted to. And when I thought about it, it sounded more like they were just gonna kind of let him live somewhere else. And it's a giant damn time ship, and he's magic, and they can get together whenever they damn well feel like it. Yeah.
Plus, I feel like he's the Spike of that show, or he should be.
He is a little too cool for school, as the producer put it.
Yeah, I don't need him to be hobnobbing with Ray in the commissary or whatever.
I forget who. I think it was Clemmer said I don't need to see him doing laundry or something like that. I was like, I get that. I get that. I can actually dig that. He's just that kind of character. He's always good. He's always got the red tie. It's always fresh. He's freshish. Always kind of looks like he had about 4 drinks.
No, I disagree.
What?
I'm thinking back to Constantine. I'm thinking about him covered in blood and doing the seance thing. You know what? I think that could be rather comical and amazing to watch Constantine do laundry. And just stroll up completely naked, covered in blood, his clothes covered in blood, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and just to see Ray's reaction to that would be phenomenal. This dude's got it all wrong.
No.
That's what the show is.
He has it right. He has it right. Here's the scene I want. Exactly that. He just destroyed some damn succubus or something.
Yeah. Covered
in blood, head to toe, smoking a cigarette on the ship. Ray's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to smoke. Fuck off." All right, what's up with your clothes, dude? Oh yeah, and then he does some quick little spell, and he's immaculately dressed. Well, I say immaculately dressed as he normally would with the red tie down, and then just takes another puff of his cigarette and strolls off the ship and vanishes back to his little happy space. Mm-hmm. I just want him to do a quick spell. Screw you, I don't need to do laundry. I have better solutions, and move on with his day. Mm-hmm. And it would be Ray. It feels like it would be Ray. I think you're right there.
Yeah, it'd have to be Ray.
Either way.
No, I think he should do them.
I don't think he's going to complain to Sarah that there's not enough bleach on this bloody ship.
Yeah. No, I think he should. And everyone, I think everyone should have a weird misconception that he could just magic himself into being clean.
Yeah.
And he's just always magic has consequences. I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up 2 months of my life to have clean shirts. I'll do laundry.
I can do some laundry, mate, Oh, much better beyond that. He discovers the room where the ship makes costumes for people. And never does laundry again.
I could deal with that.
That's just the solution from here going forward. Walk in, another one, please, and there it is, and just move on.
Or they even tell him about it. They're like, you don't have to keep washing these clothes over. We have a room that makes clothes for you. You can have anything you want. You can wear something different, for God's sake. He walks in and comes out with a green tie. All right, really? A green tie? He's like, yeah, I don't really like it. I think I'm going back.
Yeah. I thought it'd work, but that's great.
What else do we have here? Mark Pedowitz says there's no discussion about a Batman series. He says Batman already exists in the Arrowverse because last season Oliver Queen mentioned his name at one point. And Batwoman, if the series goes forward, lives in Gotham. There's no plan at this time to have Batman appear. Well, there's no plan at this time to have Superman appear, and we have a Tyler Hoechlin now. So,
yeah,
take that with a grain of salt, I feel.
And before there was no plan to Or he also said no plans to cancel any kind of shows. So all shows get canceled.
Yeah, eventually.
It's a bad phrase. They all die.
They do indeed.
I do love that Doctor Who is a show about space-time and it somehow doesn't. But that's beside the point.
It got canceled for several years.
And reappeared at a different time.
Much like the Doctor do.
There you go.
You have anything else, man? We're done.
I think I don't.
Well, holy moly. We are DC On Screen. You can find every episode at dconscreen.com. That's every episode for free, by the way. We do have a voicemail number that you can call. You can leave us a voicemail, 205-259-6331. You can leave your voicemail about anything. You're not guaranteed to be played, but most likely you will be. Or you can come join our group, facebook.com/groups/DC On Screen podcast over on Facebook. Do that. I think we're done. If there was any news you wanted to hear us talk about we didn't talk about, let us know. Let us know either by voicemail, by that group, dconscreen@gmail.com, on our Twitter, DC On Screen, on our Instagram, DC On Screen. We're everywhere, and we'd love to hear from you. Next week is our 500th episode. I'm ready for it, y'all.
It's a lot of production.
Until next week, keep some DC on your screen.
Our opening narration was from Dan Jurgens' The History of the DC Universe, Part 3 of 10, as featured in DC 52, Week 4. It was performed by me, David C. Robertson. Intro music by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Future Elevators, could be found on Spotify or future-elevators.com. Our introduction was performed by Effie Oppelders of the fantastic podcast Stealing the Remote, which lives on SoundCloud. It can also be found on iTunes and Stitcher. We are proudly in partnership with TV Time, the TV show calendar and social media site that lets you keep track of what you're watching, what your friends are watching, and where you all left off. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. Visit maladjusted.tv for more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, an improvised web series, vlogs, parodies, and more.
Are you maladjusted?
We all love the low country lifestyle, which is why we should do our best to protect it. To get insurance that helps you protect your home from whatever the low country throws at you, contact CT Lowndes & Company today. Their local agents can review your coverage to help make sure you're properly protected. CT Lowndes & Company has been helping protect and insuring the low country since 1850. Visit ctlowndes.com to learn more and request a quote. That's ctlowndes.com.